You've got crumbs.
All one comes, isn't it?
You find that sort of steps. Got there. Give him again, just.
It's good to be a home of fire in Rinston.
Yeah.
I did make that comment to the church authorities when we came in. Oh no. No.
Lost the lens.
No.
Popped out.
It's bloody well broken. Oh, there and wait.
Can't say.
There you go, Rick. I don't need to say.
How much have you put to spare? Lost the glass out, they couldn't see me much.
We couldn't see him looking.
What's it?
You're really very, very nice there. Bit of time last night.
Yeah, I got that. Steps. That's. Evening.
Good evening, everybody. Attending West Craven area committee. First of all, we must go and explain our attending of our calls. Item 1, declarations of interest. Applicant. Item 2, taking question time from anybody talking about. Minutes, minutes first. Yes,
Thank you, Chairman. Well, I'm not going to move approval of the minutes because I think they are in error. If you look at minute 109, exclusion of press and public, you'll recall that's a matter of public record which is protected in the town. that there was over 20 minutes debate on the exclusion pressing and we went through no less than 13 items which the chairman moved should be taken after this.
Anybody that wishes to come and speak on it?
I'm trying to find the number, 113, is it? Or 113. There's some debate on the advice of the town. Rest. I think the chairman of the should properly said that what she voiced was incorrect at the time. But I certainly have no comment. I have been privy to the discussions that take place with officers over it. I know there has been meetings to clarify the situation, but I have not had any involvement in that whatsoever, so I can't comment.
So those all in favour then, of the councillor?
Yeah, sure.
Oh.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah. All those in favour? All those against? Thank you very much. Could we have item 4 now, which is the police and community safety issues, and could the police tell me the name of the police so they can know who you know? Thank you.
Yeah, we see Leanne Greenwood. I'm your local CBM, West Craven. You've got appreciate.
Have your report, thank you.
No, we'll report.
Anybody any questions? Yes, councillor.
Thank you, Chairman. In the crime figures for November 2021, there's an increase in commercial burglaries, and I mean I don't know just when these figures were compiled up until, but there was a burglary at the phone shop on Robert Road in Barnoldswick. I understand that there was a suspicious character sort of not early morning, and prior to that there was the vehicle seen driving at speed down the street. I wonder whether there's any leads that the police are following, so the officers present here can tell us about, and if they are appealing for any information in respect of that crime.
The phone shop. The food shop burglary.
Phone shop?
Is that the one you're about, yeah?
Yes.
I don't know who's attended that. I can find out, see where they're up to with it. I don't think they've done any public appeals on Facebook or anything. There might be something on language talking, I'm not so sure, but something we have to look at when we get back. It's not us that's investigating that. It would have been a response officer. So when we get back, we can find out where that's up to, whether it's been closed, to expiry, or whether it's ongoing.
Okay.
I can't say anything now, I don't know. I don't know what to do with it. Is that something you want me to get back to you on?
Thank you. Well, it was more a hook for you to be able to say, well, if anybody has got any information, could they ring 111 and give them a number and provide that information?
I thought they would do that anyway.
Well,
They can contact us personally, they can email, they can on.
yeah.
Is everybody aware that they can contact us if they need to do? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm suggesting, Chairman, that there are various lines of inquiry that people may not realise that the information that they have is important.
Right.
Now, I don't know when that burglary took place, but in the early hours of that night, there was a car, and this is what people have told me, but they don't necessarily tell the police. There was a car seen driving at speed, going the wrong way down one-way street, that may have been connected to the burglary. Somebody might have got the registration number, or they might have it on the CCTV from the property. And then the second issue was that an employee of the Pendle Council spotted someone acting in a suspicious manner, but this was sort of 7:30ish around that time, which may be after the burglary has taken place. But in either case, it may be that any information that members of the public have could be valuable in any investigation, and even the response officer might have written it off as, oh, there's nothing to go on.
But has somebody come to you with that information?
Yes.
Have you passed that on to us, or have you advised them to ring in?
Just told me this afternoon.
Oh, right.
No.
Yeah, right, well, yeah. You've got my details, you can tell me, or advise them to ring in. If we don't know something, we can't act on it, can we?
No, which was the purpose of raising it at the meeting this evening.
Right?
Could we have a response of this, please? And should anything like this happen, that the people that are involved or they know of any crime that's being committed, ring the appropriate number and get a reference number so that they can come back to me.
Absolutely.
And then
I thought we would do that, but yeah, absolutely. Even if it's nothing, we can discount it.
And what it is, whether it's a red car, black car,
Just look at it, we can look at
as long as they put it in ringing, because if people don't ring anything in, then you cannot.
You don't know. You don't know what you don't know, do you?
And if there's any information that they can give, it will be far better to you as well. So if you could do that in future, please, and if any information is passed on to the council, I suggest that we ring the police and let them know where to be. Then they can forward it up, and then you get a reference number.
The best method is 101. I know I appreciate it. Sometimes you're on for 5 minutes, sometimes I know that, I get that. If you've got our personal details, we would make sure it gets passed to the right person. The best way is 101. Get a reference number, but absolutely. Anything, big or small, let us know, we'll look at it.
Thank you very much. Anybody else got any questions?
It's not on the figures. It's not on the figures, so if you want to come back after I finish the figures.
Yes.
Just on the figures, looking at the general position, all crime is up by 27 from the level of 46 at the corresponding period last year. So without doing the sums, that's in the order of about 60%, 60% increase. So I'm wondering if there's any perspective about what's happening there. Are we in the middle of a, trying not to call it a crime wave, I can't think of another phrase. Are we in the middle of an increase, a wave, a surge in the number of crimes?
Certainly not, in my opinion. We've no prolific. We've gone through times where we've had prolific burglars who were targeted for a period of time, or car thieves, or we've certainly not got any patterns like that. It may just be reporting more. I'm not sure, but I certainly don't think we're in a spike, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not wanting to have a go here. There were 46 crimes during the same period last year. There's 73 now. That appears to me to be a spike. The increase in criminal damage, 7, 5 additional thefts. I mean, it does seem to me that, there's something going on, and is this not of concern?
It is not big concerns, because if you don't want council, just like to come in on this, antisocial behaviour, it is ongoing around Victory Park, and the residents all around that area will get to the stage. They'll take action in their own means. They are fed up of getting non-stops and looking at this, what council is saying. I've noticed antisocial behaviour, damage and damage. Well, there must be a reason as to why. Is it because it's the dark nights that's going on? Nobody knows, but there's something in place I don't know.
But what do you mean by that? They're not getting a response? They're getting fed up? What do you mean by that?
Well, what it is, they're in the house, they're in the place, look, they've got CCTV, nothing's done. Nothing's done to her. It seems to get off every time. They do it.
Well, the one resident number, this person has given us a CCTV. We've done inquiries of that because we have a name come forward. So all we can do, we don't know this lad individually. We're making inquiries around the primary schools and high schools.
That's the most recent, isn't it?
That's the recent one. So when we can't do any more than that, and then when we're on duty, hopefully we're not in West Craven, and you've got to understand, and this is no excuse, there's only so many others. And there's been a couple of murders recently, and we're being tasked elsewhere. So that leaves a big gaping hole over this end. When we are open, we do our patrolling. But like everything, if we're at McDonald's and they behave, or West Craven misbehaving. So when we're at West Craven, we leave, they're misbehaving. So we can't be everywhere. We do what we can.
When
Can't hear it from the
we
schools.
get a complaint, a resident brings in, us being neighbourhood, we'll always say, here's our number. In the first, if it's not an emergency, no, always. If it's not, try us first, try one of us, Kevin as well, who's on a different shift. If we are on, we'll come to you if we're not doing something else, and we can't do any more than that. Sod's law, more often than not, they'll ring and we'll be on rest days, or whatever, the shift is complete. And we always want to say, that's when you then need to ring it in. And if you ring it in, there's a lot created. When we come in, after having 2 days off or whatever the weekend, we go through the scanning, so we'll look for the last 4 days, what's happened over the last 4 days, prioritise what's going on, and if like, give people a call back. And if there's always a line of inquiry, we do always follow it up. We never don't respond. But like Neil said then, if we're in Earby dealing with, because it's nice being Earby, we can't be in Barnolds with, it's me and Neil. Neil, a lot of the time, is on his own. We haven't went into the politics of things. Our response officers have been short at the moment. So I backfill. So I'll come in with a list of things I need to do that might be weeks old. That's what we're going to do today. And then I'm covering a call sign. And I'm out in dry field. I'm not here. I'm not in Barnolds with, and it's frustrating for us as well. But we never don't respond. We never don't follow things up. I know it might feel like that, but we're as frustrated sometimes as you guys are. And I can't stress that enough. I know people don't get that, but we can't be everywhere. There's not enough of us. There's not. We could do 10 more of us. 10 more if we haven't got it.
Any more on the spread of figures? Tom, did you want to go on? Tom?
After figures, assuming that
I just can't hear you speaking through it.
after figures, I'm assuming we're done with this.
Yes, I think.
Yeah.
Councillor Lee?
Thanks. I brought this up at the last meeting, and unfortunately no officers present. I was contacted by an individual who had had an incident at the property. They reported it to the police. The police then tried to do a house visit. Unfortunately, she was out. They had a pre-arranged time beforehand. They left a letter drop or something to say they tried to physically work in and support moving around and to arrange another time as well. She arranged a time from the day where she was in. She basically in time at the time, and then no officer came to that pre-arranged time. Which obviously, if they pre-arranged the time in the first instance for the visit, the officer would have had to come to the house and not leave a note. So it seems a bit of a waste of police time and resources, and also you lose a bit of faith in the police service when stuff like that does happen. You feel a bit left out. And I'm wondering, is there...
We get frustrated too, because we make appointments to go visit people, go visit school, and do everything we can. As soon as we walk in the door, Neil, you're at the crime scene today. 8 hours, sat outside the front door. We let people down all the time, frustrating, annoying. It's no us all bad. It's not us who got them. It's the rest, it's the job. So
I don't understand what. So somebody's reported something over the phone, and they were told that someone come out at a specific time, or did they just say what happened?
The first visit wasn't prearranged time.
Right.
So she'd come home to notes have visited and nobody was in. So there was no prearranged time for that first visit.
With that would, yeah, if somebody brings something in, it creates a log. Again, that was through call takers at Preston, you know, so they're not all calls. I mean, usually we would ring if we would say, are you home, we would make that arrangement. So I can't make comments, I don't know who did that. I agree with you saying, there should be some communication there. There might have been, I don't know, speaking out of turn.
Of course, in the second you call round, so they'd open the door, and they don't bring them on saying beforehand, you know, not the first time.
I can't comment properly because I don't really know the balls of it really, but yeah, you would think somebody would have got to say I'm coming or you work, because we assume that most people work or they're in school or we're conscious of that, say when best to come. So I don't understand. But yeah, I take the point. Communication with
Thank you. The other one I keep fetching on is stealing cars. Tonight, we did a lot more down again. We were at a funeral yesterday in Walmsgate. The red car souped up, come tearing past, and didn't miss the black car coming down Colne Road. I mean, you can't get the registration.
I know.
And we still have that one ongoing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing much, I mean, there should be something that could be done about it, but it's getting these officers in the cars or whoever when it comes.
The guns, just on the guns, another one to put them into bed. We have done quite a few speed ups recently. It's difficult because word gets round, we're only there 10 minutes and then people on the phones going, don't go down the corridor. So we do try and move about a little bit. Again, we're all the best one in the world. The guns, we can only do in certain places, they've got to be risk assessed and there's got to be a clear, unobstructed view. Most places where it's we haven't got that and we can't do it in darkness, which for us, we know for a fact that they're flying past. If we're in a playing car, it's frustrating. Have we got an officer in a marked car because there's nobody there? We do know about it, we do get it. Occasionally we try and organise other TAC ops who are traffic people, but again they get tasked out. It's down to resourcing. We are aware, and we do stop people, like overnight, we do take calls of people. We occasionally put it on Facebook, we talk to sort of advertise what we do, we probably should do so that you would know more of what we're doing. You probably think we're not doing as much. We do quite a lot actually, but again, it's having time to sort of feedback what we do. I agree, again, just like I said, I was and the gun, we can't use it at night and we can't use it on the places where the speeding is. It's got to be at certain points, so we're a bit limited that way. The other thing I can stress again, and it's difficult, if it's a repeat one, if you can get his registration, it's perfect for us because we've got an inquiry there, we can who's it registered to, hopefully somebody who's it insured to, we can text somewhere then. But again, with the flying, it's difficult, isn't it?
Thanks, Chair. Just related to speed in traffic, just been messaged by the local admin of the Barnes Baton. There's been some more damage at the bowling green, the old bowling green at Victory Park. The police have heard that.
I've heard about that. Tom, if you remember that we tried to solve that years ago to stop that from happening, but it couldn't be decided on how to do it.
Is that the suggestion you put in?
Yeah, things like that to stop it. And
again, it's how do we prevent it as cops? I know if it was happening at Friday at 6 o'clock, try and be there. How do we stop it? Stop it happening. I don't mean that facetiously. I just mean how do we stop it? Other than putting a barrier up, chains, but preventative things if possible. I don't know. If it's happening at the time and it's rung in, free, go to it again. After the event, it's difficult, isn't it? Unless somebody can tell us it was such and such a card's registration, and they're prepared to put pen to paper to say it's on the estate. Take it fair. We'll go into the rest of it.
unless we see it ourselves.
Councillor, have seen it?
I prefer David.
David.
I don't want to finish too senior. Thanks for the as far as Victory Park is concerned, the option of chaining again, isn't really an option. There are people who live within the park, and when we attempted to limit access previously, they quite pointed out that in the event of a medical emergency, they didn't want an ambulance messing about trying to get through chains or any sort of barrier in order to get to the property. And that still holds good, unless Pendle Council or some fairy godmother is going to buy out the residential property in Litchfield Park. I think that's going to hold good for quite some time. But it's not that long ago that Councillor Tomwick and I went down on reports of somebody razzing around, and we actually blocked several vehicles in that were full of people who may not necessarily be doing anything wrong, but in amongst them there certainly was somebody that had been doing something wrong. Unfortunately, they managed to escape on a motorbike. So we commented on pursuit. It looks faster than a motorbike. So we blocked the entrance, and we had all these people penned in. We did an 9 feet breach of the peace. The control room said an officer is responding, be there with you soon. And I think it was sort of like an hour and a quarter later. Of that morning, after several more phone calls to the place, that they still hadn't turned up. And we were left there, trying to deal with, I don't know, 20 odd teenagers, young people, in a friendly fashion. But it was all very hairy. So, when you say, well, what can be done? Well, the police could respond.
Just on that, can I just sit on that?
No, I'm not having a go at you, please, because I know you're trying to be nice.
Oh,
But operationally, as a committee, we flagged up not only Victory Park, flagged up waterfalls in Earby, we flagged up various hotspots. And I appreciate that there may be an antisocial behaviour vehicle unmarked, goes round them from time to time. But the response when we do report issues is wholly inadequate. And we're not getting anywhere with that. And in terms of the damage to the football pitch area, the bowling green area, we get these cars going on there, razzing around. They can gain access any numbers of ways to those grass areas. And there is CCTV down there. The police are able to access that. They should be able to find out what sort of vehicles there are, and hope could get registration.
Not always.
But, I understand that. It would help if Pendle Council actually got the lighting on down there at appropriate times, and perhaps Mr Walker would take that away as an action, because we haven't asked for the lighting to be on during those evening hours, and it isn't. So, whether the CCTV can actually work in the dark, I really would doubt. I do think there is more that the police could be doing. I want to come back, Chairman, with a more general issue which has arisen during this meeting, which I've really not seen. But I think insofar as Victory Park is concerned, in waterfalls, in those sorts of areas, Cliff Park, we just don't feel that there is any sort of acknowledgement from the constabulary. I'm not talking about the officers here, from the constabulary. There is a problem and that needs to be resolved.
Fresh police officers back, anything to provide council. Would you like to go?
There were quite a few points in there. I do take it personally because we do care about where we work. We struggle because there's not enough of us, but we do respond. The first point about the block people in, I wouldn't advocate doing that because we don't do dealing with. We go to jobs sometimes and we've got this kit on. Do you know, we can. If you guys are doing that, I know you're doing it with the best intentions. Don't put yourself in that position because if something goes wrong and like you say, you're ringing up, we're not getting to you. That is because everything's prioritised when it comes into the call room. So it might have come in, it might have been prioritised quite low level. It roughly possibly as juveniles in a park, maybe not understood that actually block somebody in, we need somebody here now. There might have been a grade 1 coming in, somebody could be threatening to kill themselves, it could be anything, and that job would just keep getting knocked to the bottom. Like if you're at A&E, there with your ankle, you just get keep. That would be what would happen. They would not have just been sat there going, we're not going, because we never have any sort of downtime to think what we're going to. We get sent to a job, we're going to it, and if we're en route, we often get sent to something else that's prioritised for us. So that's probably why that happened. The CCTV, it's not great, I'm not going to lie. We always request it. I can't personally access it. We've had this discussion many times over the years. I cannot personally access the CCTV. We have to go through Blackburn Hub. We've actually changed how we do that now. We now have to do it through another system to request. We send an email and it come through. So that's all changed as well. We can't directly access it, which is frustrating. It'd be ideal for us to be able to go into Barnolds and look at it. We can't. Something to do with data protection and how that data is stored and how we access it and all the rest of it. In relation to more that can be done, again, when you've Neil and Neil again could come in, he might not be with you tomorrow, I might not be with you for the next couple of weeks, so we're not here. I assume when I am in, the priority hotspots are the ASB, that is our main line of business. People might be coming to you guys saying, Victory Park, we need logging, we need proper logs in. So when I come in after my days off, my abstractions, I can see that 10 people are looking about it, not just one, and then they go on and say, well actually the data says we need logging, and that's how we identify we've got a problem here. And I can go to my boss and say, I have got an issue, I need more resources. If I haven't, they won't give me any. Other than that, I don't know. We do try and be there. It's not enough. I can't tell you it is because it's not.
Well, we have a task force down in Victory Park and got a drug dealer who was sentenced recently. So
Yeah,
that was
down
great. But that's because there was a major problem, an operation wall went in, and we did it. And now we still need to build up the logs to come back again. So.
Thank you, Chairman. Well, Neil mentioned the task force, and it was after we agitated previously that we actually got this task force mobilised and working in West Craven. And as people comment, things seem to have got out of hand. And I accept that it is not solely within West Craven, but we are here as representatives for West Craven, and it's our duty to try and get action on issues that our residents face. So, what I'd like to propose, Chairman, is that we do ask the powers that be, and it's not up to Neil to allocate themselves to do different things, but their supervisors, and I would suggest that we actually write to the ops managers, still have ops managers, don't they? Yes. So at the divisional level, they have an operations manager.
There will be, but I couldn't tell you who it is locally.
No. Okay, well, we could write to the divisional commander or divisional commander, yes, whatever, expressing concern. And our concern is about the level of local police cover. And the things that are on during the course of this meeting is, and these are quotes that are wrote down, we're tasked on to jobs elsewhere. We're really short of response officers and put onto response or an assignment and put onto a crime scene. Now on top of that, it's not that long ago that we were promised that we would have 3 officers, neighbourhood officers, based in West Craven, or should I say, on patrol in West Craven. And I have yet to see this 3rd officer, because it must be 2 years ago we were told that they were recruited to the force, and yet we still only see 2 officers. So, what on earth has happened to this 3rd officer? So, I want to couple that with a plea for the neighbourhood policing team covering West Craven to be made up to its full strength, and for the neighbourhood officers that we've got, for it to cease, for them to be abstracted onto jobs elsewhere, which are taking them from what is should be their primary duty of policing our local neighbourhood here in West Craven. So I would move that as a proposal, Chairman.
Do it. Anything. I'd just like to come back to this book down the line, I think. So, I would like to second it, please, for this. Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you. I'd like to say thank you to the police officers for your time. And have a safe journey, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And all this.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
We are here, please I'll say, we are here.
No,
Join
please do.
Take care. See you later.
Planning matters, planning applications. The first one we've got Bill, Dawn and Ben Lane. I've just been informed, if I can pass it on to Will Watson.
Sure, yes, it doesn't often happen this, but it has happened today. I've gone on site and I just think the officer's got something just wrong in terms of the relationship with neighbours. And I think, to be fair to the applicant, it should have been picked up earlier, it should have been left to me to have to pick it up. It's a pretty straightforward point, to be honest with you. But I'd like to recommend, if I can, first we can try and address it.
Yes, go.
Thank you, Chairman. Could I suggest that we have a site visit prior to the next meeting in consideration of this issue? But could I ask, because there's a considerable amount of work that's taking place on that site, and I know there's several interrelated planning applications and approvals that are agreements. It's not clear to me, just what's what. So, are they actually proceeding with the development which is the subject of this planning application? Do we need to do anything about it if so?
Chairman, they are on site, but from what I understand, proceeding they're doing what we've got consent for at the top for, not this that we're looking at now. They have fenced partly down this application site, but they will go a bit further to the apparatus. There's nothing on there that I could see for implementing this consent.
And one final issue, Chairman, I keep raising, on page 3, it talks about the surface water. I can't see anything about the foul sewage. You recollect I've raised this at the last meeting before the following meeting on that, in respect to this foul sewage. My recollection is, and Neil will put me right, is that they haven't applied to discharge that condition, but I think it's for a plan which proves me wrong on that point. My concern, Chairman, is that the outline approval there was an assumption that the foul sewage will be pumped into the system that is in the central sewage area of Glenoldswick. And this scheme, the intention is now to have a gravity-fed system which would go into the sewage systems over the already already serving the Glenoldswick. So, notwithstanding the issues of the proximity to the neighbouring properties, please can we have a really good look at the family sewage, because it's not appropriate for it to an overloaded system.
It's all the visual elements. Would you like to come?
But Chairman, we can ask again, you ask the utility company, they have to have a consent to discharge into it. The utility company, again, so we can ask confirmation, they were saying that the farm, which is own farm, which is coming in, proposal to the public sewage system is acceptable. So to a degree we're relying on those statutory intakes. The surface water, you can see the blue bits, which is at the top, it's infiltration, so there's no surface water to discharge into any public to public drainage system. So it is purely foul.
Well, there's a little alarm bell in religion, but United Utilities would say that anyway, wouldn't they? Because if they say, well, our sewage system's inadequate, it needs to spend a fortune in already right. So they are saying it's fine. But the reality is that it isn't fine, and we have problems exist with the sewage system in that area. But the alarm bell just started ringing now is, as Watson just said, that the surface water is dealt with by infiltration. Well, could I just comment that, as far as I'm aware of the geology of that area, it's a boulder clay, and there's one thing for sure, that you can't infiltrate into boulder clay, and that's water. So it's just going to be wrapping off. It's just going to contribute to the flooding problem that we already have in that ponding area adjacent to Skipton Road on the Rolls-Royce playing fields.
Chairman, there is a national hierarchy, and the legal local flood, United Utilities, etc. always ask about the hierarchy. The first hierarchy is to go from infiltration, and how they do that, or where it's not a reputable firm, they do work for us. It's not linking obviously, but they do actual percolation tests around the site. So there is a document that's online with the results of that test, saying that we tested it, it does work here. Because I agree, in many areas, percolation tests don't work. In fact, the vast majority of applications we get, percolation tests don't work with them.
Thank you, Chairman. I will take Mr Watson's advice. I will study the percolation test in detail. I will percolate the coffee, and no doubt it will be an issue when we do consider it at the next meeting.
So can we and can we please know the comments of the council on this, the marking that as well. So we're going to the next item, which is item 9 on the report for various conditions plans of planning commission to allow a light material amendments to the design of the proposed dwelling at caravan site, lower for Pendle also on behalf of Mr. and Mrs. Nathan and Caroline Hudson. Is there anybody wishing to comments? Councillor Wick?
The elevations for the proposed dwelling are put up on the screen, and this is supposedly a boarding house for the caravan. I haven't checked, but the increase in floor area between previous approval and what's before us now, it's roughly doubled. I'm just, it's not a boarding house, is it? It's a mansion. Given the open aspect of that plant to start, I'm just a bit raising the eyebrows at the recommendation to approve. It does seem to me to be somewhat OTT.
Yes, Chair, there's no limitation on size of property that can go in there. It's not like Greenbelt where you do have limitation on sizes. Or indeed, as used to be, the government changes on agricultural workers dwellings, we used to have a financial test. That's gone. The courts, the NPPF changed and the courts have removed that. So we will be on sticky wicket to say it has to be X or Y size in that, because just the ground shifted from beneath it. Chairman, it is, and I went to have a look at this today, it is about design and whether that will be appropriate. You will get distant views across from this, but Chairman, my view of this, I agree with the case officer, when you look at it from a distance, it's not going to be an abhorrent design, it's not going to spoil the landscape, it's mixed in with the caravans, or caravans in the foreground for the caravan park extension. It's not going to be a high construction statue. So I do understand the point. I was making policy nationally, and probably policy around is going to be proportionate, but it is an element.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out whether it's going to be more, the rooms are going to be bigger, or there's going to be more room. Yeah, so is there an increase in bedrooms?
Yes, there is.
So does that mean that it has to be an increase in car parking with that?
Clearly, there's plenty of car parking there. We've got probably 20 cars in front of it.
And so we've gone from the volume's dramatically increased, and it sits, if I remember rightly, it's where the caravan used to be parked at the side of the track up the road there. So it's going to dominate, looking back at that, it's going to sit there like a blob on a pimple, and everything around it's going to be half the size in terms of caravan structures.
It's not, you can see the differences up here. I'm trying to give you the profiles, and I'm trying to put them proportionately. It isn't so significantly larger in profile than what we've already approved. So I think it would be a difficult one to justify just on that kind of scale.
Because this is the second property, the second building on the site that has grown through planning. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I remember the building at the top end and entrance towards the site was set up as an office, and then finished up being a 3 or 4 bedroom dwelling. So I just think it's pushing the envelope, and I think looking across it, I would have thought it's going to be an effect on the landscape from Col Road, where you could see it from the other side and the trees and offset. But it does seem, quite, is it inches, meters, but it's certainly got to be dramatically involved. But anyway,
Chairman, if I may, sorry to interrupt Councillor Mills, you know, the caravan points,
Yeah.
in terms of landscape impacts, that is going to be by far the biggest impact because the extension to the caravans that obviously was refused, allowed people to sit in front of it. So the landscape terms, you will see a swathed caravans with some landscaping, but that I think is still
As a matter of interest, how many bedrooms has it got?
I mean,
I couldn't find it. I mean, is it 3, 4?
I can get it.
Well, it's academic, really, at the end of the day. But I mean, it's a 3-story building.
Yes, but you'd say it has, we're making the best of the roofs.
Yeah, they're using
It's got an
it
extra
for
story, it's got an extra metre and a half.
I think I put some flags up as well. I just think it's pushing the limit, and we've come across this before on this site, I think, to be fair. And I think all the councillors are aware of that. But if you're telling us there's nothing we can object to on that basis, then we're waiting to start again, as we've done before many times.
Thank you. I'm not entirely sure how it's going and where it is on the site. But I mean, I do have a concern about obviously this new layout has some very high windows in the access space. I'd be concerned about that being an overbearing view on the residents in the static caravan site. Would that, I mean, you know, obviously the higher you get from and looking out of the window, you can see very clearly a lot further into those people's homes. And I'd be concerned about the right to privacy there.
From the main gable elevation that would face the caravan with blank, the other side has size 4 is slightly larger. So we have that originally, which would face the caravan site, and that is proposed. So 4 windows, the one you've got is a high level fan like that.
Yeah, that's the window I'm concerned.
John, I think you would say out of the first one anyway. I think if there was a privacy issue, we would have removed the 2 windows at the first one that have already been approved. You're looking up, they're at 6 metres high, fence, even if you fence it will be at 2 metres, so they're looking over the park anyway. I don't think the new design on top has already been approved.
Thank you, Chairman. Can we be clear what its orientation is? Because I did look at it on the planning but
It sits in the same footprint. Because there's a property there. My concern originally was that it wasn't sitting there. It's there. In the end.
so
That way around though, so gable in that way.
So, Chairman, where else is Pendle Road on that plan? Or is it not sure? So that's Pendle Road. And where are the other dwellings, the other non-static caravans?
The dwellings at the outside in here, you've got some there and some on the other side. And there, you drive round, there's caravans, parks on from there and vehicles. The hedge there, you can't see that property, and then the proposed one is where the existing mobile home is at the end of the patch.
So, Chairman, would Mr Watkinson say that it is well related to the existing dwellings? Because, I mean, the original farmhouse is quite a pleasant building, and I appreciate that that's probably split in 2 ownerships now. the original building. And I would love to have seen some sort of sections that relate this to the other buildings, because this is better in the landscape.
I understand the point being made. They are separated and the vision is separated both from the road and from this because of its location once read it. But I do understand Councillor's point that effectively this is a footprint that would allow with the design so that footprint, that location has been approved once before. This is altering that, so I might be getting Councillor incorrectly, but that kind of location is already accepted. It's really whether this design alters the impacts on landscape, on ponds, etc. It doesn't certainly it's overlooking, etc.
So, in terms of the mass, has it been guessed that it was double the size? I mean, this also refers to the footprint being the same. The footprint of the land may be the same, but the footprint of the building, it's increased by 50% in width, and it's increased by 1/3 in terms of the habitable rooms, because of the dormers. So, I mean, that must be overall the floor space within the property. I mean, I just wonder whether we ought to have a particular own site, let's face it. But, I mean, fair enough if it fits within the existing buildings of the Craven.
Council seconded to without visit the new year.
Happy New Year and, Thursday.
Thank you very much. Next one is full major construction of a new treated water storage tank and temporary construction access track, temporary wiring of the junction between Manchester Road and Redcliffe Lane, demolition of the existing treated water storage tank and associated works, including reproofing of land surrounding the existing proposed treated water storage tank. This is the south-east of the absolutely.
Thank you. I think there's a few key issues with this. The first one is the impact on residents at Park Avenue, I mean, it is going to be a very overbearing presence to the rear of those properties. When this came to the council, which there was largely discussion over, Councillor Jane Mills was wanting some perspectives from the rear of those properties to get an idea and a sense of the scale of this. To the rear of those, and to quote to quote the person who was attending that meeting from the water, he said you just couldn't get a perspective of the size of it because of proximity. And I think that says enough for it anyway. It's so steep and close to properties. Another thing is the access of Manchester Road. They do propose access through Park. The problem with Manchester Road, as I have shown, the road is very narrow and parts. Large construction vehicles would struggle to pass with a car overtaking. And the access into Redcliffe Lane is a very difficult one to navigate currently. They do propose temporarily creating better access, but I think it would be in everyone's interest to see that permanent change. The town council asked for this, yet they made no effort to ask for those concerned for any further permissions after development. Another issue is there's a public footpath, that will be disturbed by the access track. I think there really needs to be properly managed new construction, because there's a lot of dog walkers and park users who use that, and they really shouldn't be encumbered during the process.
Anybody wish to comment on David?
Thank you, Chairman. I mean, I know the change that has been circulated in the fact that it hasn't gone through the proper procedure, they haven't served notice, and there are various other issues that need to be worked through because they don't all tie up. So, inevitably, Chairman, I mean, the recommendation is to delegate grant consent, but I would support a proposal to refer it to the next meeting. And given that we're gallivanting about West Craven looking at other issues, I wonder whether we can add this to the list of site visits. I think Councillor Tomlin has mentioned the conflict between the construction traffic and the existing pump users. So that is used as a route for big cars, and also they're going through the car park. So question mark, is that going to be affected? But the other issue is for people on foot. The immediate, well, lane is a nice moving, but then you get to the park entrance and it's down to one lane. And although it shows passing places, none of the passing places are going down the hill. There's a tension between the pedestrians using electric park and the construction traffic. And I think that really they need to put a pedestrian route alongside that access to allow, without it's difficult to explain what on one side of the track as you come into the pond, the land is at the high level, and then on the opposite side of the track the land is at the low level. And it's not easy for people to step off the track, and nigh on physically impossible for them to do so on the left hand side going in. So really there ought to be provision for pedestrians to go along that way. I mean, once you've got past that first section, it may not be as pretty because of the lay of the land. Pedestrians can get into the way of heavy trucks. It's not desirable, but it is possible to do so.
So can we move on and should we put this all our people to go to next month's meeting on the other side?
That is it, and I hope this month can take into account some of the issues that we've raised this evening.
Yes, Chairman, one has actually been clarified today that they used LiDAR data for the initial plan, but it's measured data now, so that's why the plans were slightly out there. I think Councillor Whip's point about Councillor Tom about the gradients, because in this state now, I don't believe it's going to change. Get a before and after profile, because we don't have cross sections, so I think that would help people to understand it.
So in order to move this that's to the next meeting on the other side of the meeting. appeals, and anybody got any questions on the reports? Yes.
So there's another appeal that's in Foster Road, so I think we've got to start. It's certainly next.
So, Chairman, just to be clear, that's the application by McDermott 67 on Fox Road. And this will be, is that now current or is it?
I've been away from it. I think we've got to start. Certainly all the appeal documents have been given to us and to pins, so it's just for pins to validate. But I think we've got to start days on that. And I've got out emailed sharing yourself set up about on that sort of thing.
Thank you. Just on appeals, could I ask, there was planning in principle application runs off Pendle Road, which I was expecting to come to committee. We got previous approval on appeal, which is a continuous link to the appeals. We've got a limited time scale in order to respond to those planning principle applications. I'm surprised it hasn't got to committee. What's happened to it?
No idea what,
So is this Copland?
No, this is land off Kelm Road in Brunswick.
I don't know that. I'll have to.
I mean, it's going back a little while now, and it's adjacent to Birchwood Court and the development that's currently taking place, and it affects the field running down towards Saltford. Very
Garden Court up my head on that.
very sensitive location.
can we have an update on the candidate response to this, please?
Wow.
Everything's okay, but I will look at it tomorrow.
It's looking back. Anybody any more questions on the appeals? Move on to the enforcement actions. Anybody got any questions on that?
Moving on.
Capital Craven. Application is on Victor Park, West Road Road, formerly footprint. It's been selected by compound of side access officer and the amount requested is £6 total. Estimated projects cost of £1,200. I'm more than happy waiting what to go through, but if there's any councillors wish to comment on this, Councillor Clement.
Yeah, I'll move that we accept this and committee from the penultimate board application.
Everybody happy with that? Councillor Wick? Are you?
I was can I raise a further point? At a previous meeting, we asked about the lorry park off West Coast Road, and although we haven't got a substantive report on the agenda this evening, unless we missed it, John will point me in the right direction, we did get an email the other day setting out the costs of doing various work on it. And I mean, the top line was something like £27,000 from memory. Actually 26, but it was, sharp and take a breath time. And then there were two further prices, one of which was the bare minimum, just filling the potholes in, and the other one was filling the potholes in and patching the worst area. Now, Chairman, I would love that we could do a proper job and surface it throughout, and it would be wonderful. However, there's no way on earth that this committee's got £27,000 to blow on such a scheme. And we would be hard pressed to do the next best thing, which is the decent patching and filling the potholes. So I wonder, Chairman, if we could resolve tonight to ask for support from two sources. The first one is Pendle Council itself. We have a lorry park in West Craven, which is actually in Earby ward, as close to it as Pendle. And it's the only lorry park that Pendle Council provides. So I would argue that that is a central facility. It is a lorry park. If somebody comes to Pendle and says, where is the lorry park, even if they're going to come on Nelson, they will be directed to West Coast lorry park in Valmont. And the second issue is to do with the adjacent household waste recycling centre, because over the past 18 months, when there's been a considerable amount of queuing, the county council HBRC practice have booted vehicles around the lorry park. I'm not saying they necessarily cause the damage, may have contributed to some of the degradation. They've used it as a queuing facility, and it's the main access into the household waste recycling. You've got to drive through the lorry park to get there. So I think, Chairman, we've got an argument on two different fronts. One is the Pendle Council of the Centre to ask that the facility is regarded as a central facility, not an area of responsibility, and that works to properly resurface the lorry park are funded from the centre. And then secondly, that Lancashire County Council is approached, because it's the access to the HWRC, with a view to LCC contributing towards the resurfacing and the proper resurfacing of that area as well. So could I move those two approaches together with we have a report to the area committee when we have a response from the board, and that we reconsider the matter further when hopefully we got positive responses, say £12,000 from each authority, and we tip in 3, and it's the cost to us repairing potholes.
So could we send a letter maybe to LCC?
Yes.
The county ambulance?
It's actually Steve Scott, who, when last I knew, was the waste person, recycling person, waste.
Health Council and LCC asking them for some support on this.
Yeah.
The job.
So we're looking for 24 grand between the two of them, and we'll tip off the rest. I mean, subject to agreement with Ward Collins.
So it's perfect for policy for these.
Yes.
So then, Tom, would you like to come back in?
Yeah. Can we dispose of that?
Hello, it's
Sorry.
yeah. For those who know anything about road maintenance, the major cause of potholes is water ingress, and that lorry park has sincerely moved every winter for the last decade, as known as the Great Swag. So I think if you're going to get a public service job, it needs proper drainage, so it's not something we need, so it doesn't come out.
Yeah, thank you.
Really cool.
And then could we
We probably start on the first bit, but there you go.
can start?
That's right.
Thing is, if we can start with this,
Yeah. And then it's question, somebody drainage involved.
Chairman, there's a grate in the corner which we found when we were walking about, where it's made up So it may well be just a case of getting the bums fucking down and getting clear.
Like Councillor Rupert just said, we might, if we want to do a job right, let's do it right, because after we see what happens if you're not going to do a job, and you have to come back. So at the end of the day, if we get the proper improvements and then get the drainage as well done at the same time, so we'll all do that.
I'm sure Gareth will tell us to be sustainable with the drainage.
Sorry, just okay, so are we getting the drainage costs before we go to the RLCC, so we know the drainage costs?
Could I suggest that the drainage which is already there should be in a functioning condition, and it's just regular R&M rather than a capital project? I'm not talking about installing drainage,
No.
getting drainage work, but
You can follow the costs of the owner of the land, so they contribute to that as well.
Can we invest with the engineers as well? So that's one, capital programs, using the Brisbane Road, footpath. And I can make up quite many issues on that. Anything else business to say about Brisbane Road? Nobody want to go? Tom?
Yeah, I mean, it's very disappointing. I so agree with me all over the Jess box. I can't remember off the top of my head what the increase in spend would have to be for the other options.
It's gone
It's a drop out.
for an estimated cost of 10,000.
I mean,
It seems a lot, doesn't it?
6
There again,
pounds, I mean,
it's not house there, is it? I know. Council would.
well, something to it, so I'll keep them with the table. We're doing site visits. Why don't we look at this one? I mean, my recollection is that the problem here began when somebody thieved some stone flags, and there are remaining stone flags there. And in an ideal world, we'd have a stone flag footway. And to my mind, it should be the Lancashire County Council's responsibility, because it's been used as a highway for donkey's years, and there's certainly people on that road in the past told me that it's been used for time and memorial. So it ought to be recognised as a highway, it ought to be the responsibility of the highway authority, and they ought to do a proper job. And, don't know how many years it is since it first came up, but, a decade later, we're still in the situation where we've got some flags that are missing and it's a trip along it. I know Councillor Tom is doing his best to solve the problem, but I think if we have a look at it, we might say, well, hang on a minute, if the bit might come concrete, it's not the best thing to do.
I feel like it is, we could have a go at LCC and extend. I mean, like I've said before, everybody uses it, it's an adopted road, but at the end of the day, you said, Councillor, that people use it, coming home from work, whatever, school, deliveries, you name it, people do those there. So maybe a letter to LCC, and whoever's in charge of this, would we make a request that this would have to be put in there? Yes, we'll do a site visit first, and then we'll write the list. So that's another one for the site. So is everybody happy with that? Thank you very much. Miscellaneous items, reorganise farmhouse with the new town centres. Anybody got any questions on this?
Chairman, the work in Earby to do the repaint street furniture there, the report spells out that the planters have been repainted by an Earby company just within the budget. On the lighting columns, we answered the response from Manchester Council. I wonder whether we as a committee could escalate that request. I dare say people in the engineering section have contacted counterparts at LCC. I wonder whether as a committee we could resolve that whoever at LCC put where you pitch it, but why not put a director at level and sort of say, look, we're not happy. We're trying to do a good job of making it look tidy and everything else like that. So, that's that. And then the next one is the public realm at the Town Council. And the new town clerk will be conducting an audit of their assets, which will include an assessment of their condition need for repairs or maintenance. Well, I think we've done that free of all charge for Earby Town Council. Councillor Woodthorpe, Councillor Carroll and myself walked round and we identified all the took pictures and the bottom of all the show. So we've already assessed the need for them to be repainted. So I wonder whether in a gentle way we could also reaffirm our request at Earby Town Council that they perhaps either did it or organised the work themselves in order to get everything lifted at the same time rather in a piecemeal sort over several years. So I wonder if I could move those two things, Chairman. So it's LCC escalated to the directorate level and secondly a more gentle approach to Earby Town Council asking, given the audit that we've already carried out on their behalf, that they recognise that it needs to be paid.
Anybody wish to come back
Good.
on? Joanne's made any thought, thank you. John?
Bit of concern with the website. Estimation of £4,000. And that's ballooned to £5,380. I mean, we all thought 4,000 was a bit fancy. I'm a bit concerned that that's not valuable. I mean, obviously we do have these cupboards and all that very heavy. And what our phone is the lowest by quite a bit. I mean, they just don't seem sensible. Well, I mean, I'm aware it's already not bad, isn't it? I assume when it's a tender
Yes,
flagship.
yes, Chairman. As with other areas, they wanted that the website doing. We've gone out and done the process that we have to go through. It has come out more expensive. It's still seen as an important element for the towns involved. And, yes, don't disagree that it's more investigated. I think it's an important part of the package, I think. So yes, it is. I don't disagree, but I don't know what you want to do with it, what will come out of the process, and which I think will be very difficult.
Well, Chairman, I think the way that this has been handled on this is Pendle Council shot itself in the foot. As far as I am aware, there are 10 numbers of businesses that have registered to go on this website from Barnwell. That is a combination of the letter inviting people to register for being delivered on the very day that was the deadline in the letter, and quite frankly, the reputational damage that has caused is incalculable. Pendle Council is regarded as a laughing stock amongst the business community in Barnsley Town Centre. The other issue is, in the report, it talks about the quality was a consideration. We've dealt with this company before. They are very reliable, high respected, and extremely professional. Which, extremely professional, well, I beg to differ, because anybody doing online activity would surely have provided links, QR code, that would take you straight through to a form that you filled in online. Not writing things on pieces of paper for other people to input, or emailing pictures that then have to be uploaded. It could all be done seamlessly online. And again, that is just leaving Pendle Council as an object of ridicule. Because anybody that knows optometrics is saying, well, why on earth are they doing it this way? It's like the era of Charles Dickens rather than the era of travelling to the moon or Mars and things like that. And to be honest, I think we ought to knock it on the head. I think as a committee, we ought to have no confidence that this is being handled correctly. I'd love to how we retrieve the reputation, which you got to that one, and how on earth do we get people to sign up to something which is demonstrably incompetent? And on top of that, Barnsley Town Council, and we've got the chairman of the Town Council here, is looking at this askance and has not, and is unlikely to commit to the future maintenance. So you can look up 5,296 pounds on setting up a website that after a year will be default because the town council won't pick up the temporary ongoing maintenance. I just despair because it's £5 down the drain. And well, I was told that champion, having a website that included email, but the way this has been handled is completely not forged. And I despair that we're in the position that we're in. But my view is, as a committee, we should pull the plug on this one and use the money to better effect.
It's not a suggestion, but the question I would ask is who, if the book's being pressed on this 17,000, the one that we've got, who actioned that as an expenditure? It's certainly action here, and even if you stick it 3 words, it's still more than the original amounts that I was talking about. So there is an issue. I can't remember that this committee certainly didn't give carte blanche to develop a large website operation. Earby didn't want to be involved. But I can't, if these figures had been on the table to start that, I would have thought we would have signed it off. And I don't think we have. Is the problem. So I think, David's right. I think somebody has signed off £17,000 worth of when it's finished. And it wasn't here.
But Chairman, I think we need to go back and have a look at that. The programme is mine and Mr Millsdale's responsibility for signing the contracts with it. The thought behind this for each town committed an amount. Yes, it's more than that, but it's not 17,000 from this. It is 4,000, and it was an estimate, and that's. I'll take the point from Councillor Whip about the usability. I'll speak to the officer who's been dealt with it directly, but I think it has been signed off in the sense of it's 4,000 pounds, it's not 17,000 pounds, but it's between three areas. So what I suggest is I bring something in more detail back to you next time. If this expenditure's been committed, it can't be deallocated.
A question, Chairman. Well, yes, I accept that, but 3 is into £17,900. It's still got a full crowd, which I'm good, and it's probably 50%. My brain can't put it on figures these days. But so that is a large change, a big change over this 3 ways.
Yeah.
And the point that's being made about maintenance is always an issue. Spending the money up front, fine. But who's going to look after it ongoing? Because otherwise it's a waste of money in the first place. And if we can't take, so the fix him, but if we can't take the financial town council with us on this one, then you've got nowhere to go anyway. It's going, it will collapse and it won't be looked at. So, you know, there is some doubts and worries about this. I think you've got away from
Really got you.
Thank you, Chairman. Can I just point out that it isn't my stomach gurgling? Although there is some plausible evidence that the heating system is circulating, I think we can assure viewers on the webcast that how fingers and toes aren't getting nippy because there's no actual heating going on, and perhaps the fire and Princeton of the meeting could have warmed things up. We're all sitting 3 years of not to add to the fire in Princeton to any considerable degree, but and again this is for also one, the planters which are involved in 2 folders, acquiring some new planters and re-erecting some old ones. I was impressed with the remarkably good price of £501 for 8 Clark moon planters and 16 handy baskets at the cost of £501 from Handcraft. And I've been asking somebody in the engineering section when these new pole planters were re-erected. And I said, well, that's actually a really good price, £500 for 24 of these reservoir planters. So I said, you know, 22 pips is tremendous. I believe last time the Barwick Town Council they were sort of like double the price, even more than that. And he said, well, I don't know what he said, there's only 8. I said, what do you mean there's only 8? And we checked back, and Councillor Tom Wick had sent an email specifying that there were 8 moon planters, 8 hanging baskets at this size, 8 hanging baskets at that size. So a total of 24 reservoir planters. £501 covers 8 of them. So we're 16 hanging baskets short of a full set. And it would be very nice in all these ponds, but it would be a bit of an embarrassment next spring when there's none to hang on. So, price suggest that the overspend on the website is reallocated to actually by the number of planters that were actually specified, rather than only doing a third of the job. Because otherwise, you know, we were on another mission to nowhere. What we're mission to London.
Is everybody in favour?
Yeah, that's dependent. If the money's been deferred for the website can pretty certain it has, it can't now be reused again.
As far as I'm concerned, the committee is allocated £4,000. And I think, you know, if more money needs to be raised, then it can't come from here. It's £4,000.
Chair, if it's been spent, there's no more money for it. Let me get back to you, because if it hasn't been spent, then fine. Pull the plug on that. It will also mean pulling the plug on the other website. I think it has been done, so we don't have more money in the pockets.
See what you can do there. Councillor.
So, I had to get up and pace about that, because, you know, I am becoming incandescent with rage that this bump
Let's stop going too far with
bump here, it is bump.
I think we need to just calm the language down and I'll come up and speak to the officer and bring somebody back to you. That's what I'm saying.
Right, Chairman, the issue that we went on to is the second stage of mishandling, or we won't use the word bullying again, is the fact that we've got 8 plants going, and I think that within stock, within town council, when another 16 are needed. So, how are we going to achieve those 16 if we can't reallocate that funding? Because, looking at it, we've got £86.47 left in the pot, which probably buy 2 planters. So, I'm just despairing. How on earth are we going to square the circle here? And you know, the website with any numbers of businesses on it is going to be a complete and utter waste of time. £5,296 down the drain. How, come on. Neil, I'm not wanting to have a go at people, but this is absolutely absurd.
So what are you recommending? The offence?
Well, Chairman, I think we should hold an immediate halt to any further expenditure on the website. We should consider at our next meeting whether we are going to have a report on how many businesses have actually registered for it. And we have a report, and I think it needs action to go to the Central Policy and Resources Committee, you know, as to how we extricate ourselves from squashing thousands of pounds of public money down the drain. And then we want to get the right number of values gets to put on the box. We get it installed soon in the new year.
So do we have all in favour?
Check on the more positive. Can you report that the state referred to that I personally went and picked it up from Mr. Walker's depot and all sorts of fun of it with a and Councillor Tomwick and other volunteers directed it on Norfolk Town Square. It was used for the hugely spectacular and successful switch-on event it's going to be used another couple of times during December, and it is a really successful piece of kit, isn't it, which should see lots of good use in future years. It's a good piece of engineering, and
So can we move on now? To environmental environment? Has anybody got any questions on this? David?
yes, Chairman, the Westall Trolley Park, some signs have been put. I'm not quite sure whether from LCC or from Pendle Council, but we do have continued fly tipping in that area, and I think it's something that we really do need between the county council. Because it's the county council's actually on scene to track the fly tipping. The county council isn't to blame. People will be antisocial in just dumping the rubbish, though it comes in the problem. But I do wonder if the county council could take more responsibility for the stuff that's tipped on their doorstep.
Through each of our staff improve the situation.
One said suggest some so that anybody that's called, I don't know if you just put that.
So we're working on
Anybody else any questions? No? Move on to the next item. Council and Health and Engineering Service Manager submits the effect for an environmental. Yeah, second part from Barrows of Town. Okay. And these are the fourth and following.
Chairman, I've not seen that. Have we got it in front of us tonight?
Somebody else.
Right. So, Chairman, for the new deputy path, there's an estimate of £15,000, clearly beyond this committee's budget, and I don't think I was arguing that the area committee should pick up account for that anyway. Could I, Chairman, that we refer the plan and the costings, the estimate, to Barlswick Town Council to see if the Town Council can find a wherewithal, either from external sources or I sort of takes me sharp into the red there. No, I think, Chairman, there is a possibility some external funding for this, but it's probably better if the Town Council takes it on rather than Pendle. As an area committee, we could put a nominal amount. If our report following those exploratory investigations, yeah? Thank you.
Can we take that from James?
Do you want it back? Yeah, sorry. I've not. Is it come to now? Yes.
Yes, it is.
Can you
5 minutes.
Chairman, I do have an issue that no emails on BBC. Somebody said, oh, I sent you an email and you didn't respond, and I checked back, I can't find the email, so I'm not sure that was.
want to just check? Just
So, just very.
I'm just going to refer this to Barnes at Town Council.
and then we have a report back to this committee in due course.
From the rules of practice. We're on to outstanding matters. The following items, the actions are items for discussion. The following items referred from the last meeting. The condition of the road on Bath Street, Stoker, Newtown, Barnsley. The condition of the flood wall on Skipton Road, Barnsley, which was funded by Barnsley Town Council and Pendle. Is there anyone wish to go on this?
Yep. The condition of the back of Front Street, back of Newtown, that's unadopted currently, which is weird for a town centre location, to be honest. I thought it would be adopted. But it is in the right state. But a couple of weeks ago, through there, there was just some bins left, full of glass, which me and some of the residents helped to move into brown bins and get emptied. The tarmac is completely had it. It's just not a lot for our town centre. I think we need to be contacting LCC to look at it.
Is it accessing the doors?
It's
David?
Well, Chairman, looking at it's another one of these where it's got curbs in, it's been surfaced, clearly been removed once or twice for utilities, but it looks to have been made up to an adoptable standard, and I was very surprised to find that it wasn't shown as adopted. And clearly the work has been done at some point. So I think the starting point, it's a bit like down close to Saltcliffe, if anybody remembers that one, where the work to adopt down close to Saltcliffe was done just before local government reorganisation in 1974. There was, with the paperwork, and Lancashire County Council for the best part of 4 decades maintained that it wasn't adopted. And I went to Skipton to Craven and looked at the records from Skipton Rural District and found that yes, it had been adopted, it's just that the process hadn't been followed through. And I got the Lancashire County Council Highway Authority to accept that it had, and we got it resurfaced. And I wonder if it's another one of them that, in the dim and distant, the work has been done, but perhaps the paperwork hasn't been completed, I don't know. So I wonder in the first instance that we ask that investigations are made into its highway status, whether it's adopted or not. It may be that we can establish that there is documentation and it should be adopted, and then the county council will do the necessary work. There is one other bit to it, and Councillor Tomback was referring to the funding bit, and they were on the platform at the top, which is the access to the properties that are rubbish shops on Rainbow Road, and that's in deplorable condition. I wonder whether there's any funding, any budgets within Pendle to do some emergency work to make those safe, because one of the elderly residents has passed away, but there are a couple of other people who are knocking on who use that as an access to get to their flats, and it really is a bit of a death trap. So I don't know whether Pendle Council still have funding within central budgets to do emergency work on such properties. and whoever could resolve to ask if that work could be done. And like I said, that's a bit back in where the flags are just
So could we approve it, like I said, we want that going through Pendle? So it's,
the investigations, I think, it'd have to be engineering section, but it might run back on us to sort of go through records of all the council or something.
that for which conditions, when you want to improvements, is it improvement?
Well, Chairman,
Signs.
Up at the top of the street, there's this sort of raised platform, which is really odd. But that's dangerous. So it's a case of asking if there is a budget to the Pendle Council that could do emergency work to make it safe. I don't think the county council would sort of look at it at all.
You could do it down town council, yeah.
Well, perhaps we
Town like every back street. Just fine, throw it in the chin. But that's how the way of getting these odd.
Chairman, are we moving on to the second bullet point?
Condition of the floor.
Yeah. Chairman, I mean, this began when Openreach put some poles in it, and there was concern about the poles puncturing the waterproofness of the flood wall. I think Chairman was satisfied that Openreach haven't put their finger in the dike or pulled the finger out of the dike, whatever it may be. That in fact the poles do puncture some geotextile membrane, but that membrane isn't for waterproofing. It's for the stability of the banking, the clay banking. So the engineers don't think that's a big problem. However, close inspection of the wall has revealed a couple of issues with it. And the first issue is to do with the brickwork falling. And that's the surface is breaking off. And question mark, is that as a consequence of poor materials, or alternatively it could be poor workmanship, or a further alternative is a poor specification. And I wonder if we could investigate that and see if there's any remedial action that could be taken to these spawning bricks to make them impeccable for years to come. The second issue, Chairman, is that towards the Barnsley end of the wall, there is just a very slight dip in the copings. And looking at the plans, that doesn't seem to be intentional. As say, it's like an emergency escape way for the water to come out of. Could be it's there by accident. So, first thing is solid brickwork. Second thing is this slight dip, whether that's wants to be corrected so that it's perfectly true and level all the way along it.
So,
Two things.
two things there that Spencer has
Yeah.
come out an investigation.
Thank you, Chair.
The members have also requested that the following items to be discussed to consider for sewer improvements in Barnsley with United Utilities and English Water. In Earby there are persistent problems with sewer charges and that extension with Cornwall, which have been raised at previous meetings. In Barnsley, several occasions were found sewer charges into the water course. Several years ago, United Utilities were programming the replacement of the town's main sewer, but this is the fact. I think they
Yeah, thank you, Chairman, for verbatim reading out of what I wrote when Joanna Smith for further information. Can I start with Earby, Chairman? And we're all aware that there's innumerable drainage and flooding issues in Earby. One of these many issues is on Saltford Road, and I think all of us that have any familiarity with the town have seen the sewers on Saltford Road surcharging to the height of up to 4 or 5 feet at a time, and Councillor Tomlin can tell you about the time when we were taking pictures or getting video of it. He managed to drop his phone into the flow of foul sewage that was coming out of one of these fountain inspection chambers. But the people that down the bottom of Salford, around going on to Beach Avenue, almost every winter and sometimes several times in a winter, are having pools of foul sewage outside the property. And you know, the road is really, it's awash with rag, and rag is tampons, toilet tissue, you name it. And the sewer is clearly inadequate for the load that it has to take, and particularly, not exclusively, when it's with very heavy rainfall. And then that feeds into problems at the junction of Salford Road and Conway Road, where there's a manhole there, surcharges, again spewing foul sewage out onto the road. And people going to the newsagents, you know, people coming down off Northorn, they have to walk through this on far too regular basis. So I think, Chairman, we've referred this issue to Yorkshire Water. They may have visited at times, they may have cleared a blockage, they may have rectified where there's a collapse, but there is no permanent and proper improvement in the state of sewers. It needs a bigger sewer, or the sewer needs renewing. I can't say what exactly needs doing, but I wonder, Chairman, if we could call for a meeting with Yorkshire Water for the foul sewage side to discuss how they are going to address this issue and resolve the problems that there are along Salford Road. I remember when I was first elected back in 1980, the water people, and it wasn't Yorkshire Water at the time, it was pre-privatisation, put a huge new sewer right along Conway Road. And I remember it, going back 40 years, but it was a big pump. So going back 40 years, they put a massive pipe along Conway Road. So there is plenty of capacity in the main sewer, and this is a sort of side sewer that presumably they could upgrade and upsize if there was some money. And I think we need to get them out of the pipe and persuade them that this is a job that they need to do. Okay? Yeah.
Because I was called on the news agent about all the sewerage that's never seen anything like it, so I think we need to arrange a meeting with
This is the Yorkshire Water.
the reality before the next downfall comes.
Well,
Knowing what Yorkshire Water, right, so we shall move on now to item 13, outstanding.
sorry, Chairman, there were two parts to this. Because sewer requests in both Earby and Barnoldswick.
Down to the everyone. Barnoldswick was the issue with the sewer. Gisborne Road adjacent to Dublin Gardens there.
Yeah.
And what was the location?
It was before Councillor Conway was born.
Oh, you should talk over there.
His our name is Pendle. It's in the lifetime of Barlswick Town Council, which was formed in 1987. But United Utilities intended putting a new sewer through Potts, through Valley Gardens, across Gisborne Road, under the allotment side, but down ahead, and then down into Victory Farm. I'm aware of those plans because Barlswick Town Council was asked as the landowner of the allotments, the occupier of the allotments, was the landowner, about the disturbance and, the programming and stuff like that. So, I mean, I would picture probably early 90s, maybe 30 years ago, they were intending doing this work. And in the meantime, we've got at least 4 discharge points where storm overflows discharge raw sewage straight into Stock Bay. And we can technically each and every one of them now. But it's a disgusting thing to be happening. 30 years ago, they were planning a new sewer. It's never happened, and why not? And I think last year, looking at Congress, a meeting with United Utilities to ask for that sewer to be created and renewed, and to get rid of the storm overflow into Stock Bay.
Can we do that?
And the other one, which is a major concern, is the road adjacent to the Earby car park / Rolls West car park. There's a sewer there that flows up. I've mentioned this before, it flows over the bridge and into Jean's football pitch, as well as Stock Bay. I think that's due to the sewer having to go underneath a culvert and the other way around. But that needs upsizing there. It's the last length of the treatment plant, so there's a lot of flow there. It comes in from the central catchment, the south-east segment as well. There's a lot of it like that, and it's not going into that just because there's limited capacity.
There isn't all we need is down, just been all God bless it, we used to know everything we see stuff. So could we have that added on to the Thank you very much. Any more? No. Outstanding items, the following items, stroke actions have been requested by the committee. Reports will be submitted to the committees. Back to Myrtle Road, costings for the car park. We've never heard anything back from that. That's true, next meeting. Going on. Traffic issues on Skipton Road, Bonham near Junction, Causeway, the waiting update from L6. I've heard anything.
Scott Walker has talked to Matt Hargreaves, and we hope to come back to him. I think that there are some costings that Matt said he's working on.
So, nothing with that. Northern Community Centre request for a meeting. Do you have anything from that?
Thursday.
Yeah, actually, it's Thursday, it's 10 in the morning or 2.
Thursday,
Next Thursday at 10 o'clock. Is there everybody else will be back on or the after?
What day?
That's the 9th of December. Thursday, 9th of December, 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock.
I think I'm okay, Jack.
Just thinking.
Female members who just want to get back to
Lancashire Highways online and booking system response requested to addition of missing bullets. Have we heard anything back from them?
It's got rules.
So can we have an update and something go over what? Yes.
Chairman, it's not that the gullies are missing, the gullies are there.
No.
It's just that their virtual presence is not acknowledged.
Once being Methodist Chapel awaiting decision of LEF. I've been told that the decision for that will be on the 15th of December. Could the member of the public disperse, please?
Chairman, you've got one final one, which is your area. I mean, after the area.
Sit down.
We asked for this liaison committee months ago.
Yes, it is.
How are we going to do it?
They said he's working with him at the moment on one of the complaints that we have. Should be investigated. I do want to get that out of the way before we set up this working group. So they're going to set up a working group, but we just want these complaints to be investigated.
Chair, really just looked like a very effective way of getting this into the long grass. I mean,
Good, it's right. Give them another month. Wait till after
Well,
Christmas New Year, and then suggest that we do at the meeting.
irrespective of whether
Whether
the
they
investigation is going on. Chair, one issue that was flagged up as possibly your area having some involvement was all the parking along Cotton Road. Now, I don't think your area were necessarily involved with that, and there has been dramatic action within the last month or so in terms of getting rid of a lot of those parked vehicles. I say parked, abandoned might have been a better answer. So most of them have shifted, leaving quite a lot of residue on the ground, fallen leaves and accumulated debris, and whether Mr Walker's many people could get the mechanical sweeper on there. Well, the density activities, the park vehicles, they can get a lot of yeah. And just thinking about mechanical sweepers isn't a problem because we don't seem to have seen any mechanical sweepers for several weeks now.
We have a runway problem, child with drivers due to national shortage of drivers staff. They're taking for high roads and the problem that's only going to be COVID and people are sleeping. They need to reprioritize.
So,
the staff to critical services.
so Chairman, are there any mechanical sweepers actually work?
Actually, Chair, the two not working bars on scale here, but the two not working now.
Are they not getting around everywhere?
There is increased workload at the moment with
Leave.
so it's taking one thing. But like I show you, two from West Craven and into Conference, I think it's happy. Probably out majority of the town.
Well done.
I've certainly seen it, several times down over it. Not
You get started. No.
That might have to do with the vacancy. Yeah.
From that, could the member of the public please leave the room? Please, please. Thank you, Mom.
You do know that they're building the next building, don't you? I forgot about that. What a mention.
Who needs the rules taken out?
Can we turn the can we take a vote? He's gone, well, it's all right, it's the